Hello, this is a Bluthner style 4A grand piano. It's 165 centimeters long. It's just come back into stock. It's sold in 2017 and it's almost identical to when it was sold. There's no real damage and no fading. I'm just looking over the piano carefully, and I've made an assessment sheet of the piano too, just to see what work we might need to do. It's a beautiful instrument. It was fully restored and repolished by Bluthner's in 1982 and really not been used too much since then. Has been used a bit by a piano teacher apparently before we got the piano, so we'll have a look at the amount of wear there is on the action. Now, the case what hasn't faded at all. Very often when this part of the lid's been held back, if this piano's relatively light colour anyway, but if it's held back you get a fade line there, as we mentioned many times. And if you do buy a piano that's French polished by us, please do vary it so that you don't end up with this fade line if you want to preserve it in its original condition. But as you can see, the piano is practically immaculate. There's a slight scratch here which fortunately is showing up on the video. I didn't really notice it until I made the video, so it's not that distracting. And actually I think this fold back, if we look at it, actually hides that scratch. So there's very, very slight difference in colour, I think you might be able to see from the two parts there. But again, if you held this back, it'll match the colour more and more, and this colour is slightly different, but really I'm just trying to pick fault in it so that you're aware of it if you're interested in the piano. But immaculate, beautiful. We call this flamed mahogany. I think that's the right name for it. And if you look here, you can see the keys are actually one piece ivory. So when it's fully restored, one piece ivory was put on, and it looks immaculate. It's had a new rest plank, and so the tuning pins are small, going into new wood. We showed that on the previous video I made when the piano previously went out in 2017. It's really identical. One of the fortunate things about piano dealing is when you get the pianos back in, if they've been looked after well, then they're exactly the same. Really very, very little difference or no difference. So we're going to try and perfect it even more. So let's have a look at the bridge, for instance. Here is perfect. There's nothing to do on the mechanical side. Generally it's just fine regulation and voicing. Now we check pianos carefully when they come in, and one of the things we look for is moth damaged by moth larvae. You can see little green droppings here where they've attacked the felts very often, and clients' pianos on our own, we've had to replace felts under the keys quite often, really, where they've got so damaged, especially if the middle and the back as well are damaged, and the front. They can do devastating damage to the keys, to the felts under the keys. We also find moth damage here as well, and none whatsoever in this piano, but I'm using the opportunity to mention that because it's been so common. If you use a lavender spray or other moth deterrent, cedar wood is another thing really important to keep the piano well. You can buy sprays, you can buy killer as well, obviously. Not quite sure which is the best. If you are in the trade and have used them and would like to help us with that, that would be excellent. I notice the keys are stiff. If you lift them up here, they should fall down. New pianos, they fall down, so we're going to make this as much like a new piano as we can. It could be certainly as good as, if not better, because the style of action in those days was so beautifully made. So to stop them binding here, we have to take the keys out. We lubricate with talc, that's dry lubricant, and then just ease the key a bit as well so that it falls gently down, not too easily down, otherwise it's going to be loose. You mustn't open up the hole underneath here. This model of Bluthner has a knuckle instead of a roller. Very often they do, actually. It's beautifully designed and works very well, but this needs lubricating with talc as well, and that overcomes the initial inertia and makes it smoother, and also will take away any slight squeaks there might be. We've also checked the hinges here. They're tight and not too tight. It's really important there's no sideways movement here if I do this. So these hinges have got to be tight, and they're not so tight that they bind. So if we let the hammers go down like that, we can see they're not too tight. And we'll obviously fine check them as well, and fine check the whole action. And in actual fact, I noticed as well that the springs, that's this repetition spring under here, that's holds the repetition lever up. Some of them vary a bit, so this one here, that goes up slowly maybe you could go up slightly faster than that, and the one next to it doesn't go up. So it's important that, to do with the touch, that those springs are regulated correctly, so we'll be doing that. We voiced the hammers before we sold it last time, 2017, and they just need fine voicing. Again, you can never do enough voicing really to get them as even as each other as possible. They are mellow. The last client asked for a mellow sounding piano, so it is slightly mellow. If you want it slightly brighter, we can reface them to get down to the layer behind that, because we haven't voiced very deeply here, so that can easily be brought back to be bright again if you want it to be. I think it sounds beautiful, but we'll listen to the piano in a minute, and you can comment if you're interested in buying the piano, and certainly we can customize it for you. So that's a very fine Bluthner style 4A, 165 centimeters long, which we sold in 2017. I've just brought back. I'm so grateful to get it back in. Obviously it's a piano that we've worked on before, but there are some refinements to do. There's lubrication of the balance rail and the knuckle, because the touch is slightly on the heavy side, and that'll bring that down and also make the action feel more smooth if we lubricate. And then we might need to just adjust the weighting after that as well, but the lubrication will bring it down considerably. 61 should be more like 50, or 48 to 52. If you want a lighter action, please do let us know, or if you want it slightly heavier. That 55 is about the maximum of a new piano, and 48 is about the minimum. So we're trying to match the new piano as much as we can, and certainly can get it as accurate as a new piano. It just requires work, obviously, to do that. Reducing the hammer blow to 47, 50 centimeters. I didn't mention this before. 50 millimeters is a little bit high, so we're looking to bring it down to 47. We haven't made the final decisions on all of this. We need to regulate the springs. Some of them are need strengthening slightly. There's bits of work to do, and as you see, the touch is slightly uneven. So that's work we will always try and do. So let's compare it with some other pianos in the showroom. This is the Bluthner Style 4 made in 1932, so it's a shorter piano, 151 centimeters. And a fully restored 160 centimeters Grotjens Steinberg made in 1927.